I can't hear Danny. Danny, if you can hear me, I can't hear you. I think they're onto it.
Go on then.
You know, some guys are just amateur like that. They don't understand the tech game very well.
I'm old.
Danny, poor Danny had his mic on mute, bless him.
I bloody
But we
didn't.
are here. Say again?
Deny. I did not have it on mute. I don't know what went wrong, but it definitely wasn't on mute. I'm old. I can't do technology because I'm old.
Fair enough. We're back with another episode of Chat Shiz Get Banged. Some big news coming out today. Obviously, finally confirmed the Usyk Chisora fight. You know what, Danny? First and foremost, obviously we're all gassed that it's happening. It's finally come to fruition after months of waiting. But October the 31st, we know for a fact that there won't be crowds there after the government's announcement yesterday. Bit of a strange one to say they've been putting it off for so long and now they're kind of confidently saying, all right, let's just do it behind closed doors.
Yeah, I think the government announcement about the live sports events, the test events being postponed, had a big impact on that, and I think it probably will on Daniel Dubois against Joe Joyce as well. I think they're two fights that have been hanging around for a live gate, hoping that things would turn around in the stats and that the government would press forward with allowing bigger live events. And I think now we're at a point where it's either you go ahead with no crowd or it's postponed until at least next year. And I don't think any of the fighters involved, particularly Usyk and Chisora in this case, want to wait. Eddie Hearn alluded to it in his press release that he thanked the teams behind both fighters for their patience. And I took that as a coded meaning for saying, thanks for taking less money, guys, because I can't see any other way this would go ahead this year.
Of course. Before you get into any of the other stuff about it, for me, instantly what stands out is, of course, all due respect to Chisora, he's a warrior, and he's shown that over the years. But one of the main things we were excited for Chisora was to have a jump in O2 behind him to motivate him against a frustrating opponent in Usyk. Does this kind of now kill his chances even more to win that fight?
It certainly hurts him more than it does Usyk. I mean, Usyk was an international level gold medalist amateur, used to fighting in big arenas and small. And I think that breadth of experience, bear in mind as well, when he won the WBSS tournament, he fought in his opponent's backyard each time, in each round.
Yeah.
So, he's used to traveling. He beat Tony Bellew over here before as well. And it will hurt Chisora more than it hurts him, I would imagine, because, that extra boost from the crowd would help. We saw Chisora turn in one of the worst displays of his career when he was out in Monaco, where he didn't have much of a crowd behind him or behind anyone. It was quite a muted.
Exactly. That's
crowd.
what I was going to say. That's the thought that came into my head because We all expected Chisora really to win that fight. If anything, I think he had a good performance just before that as well. And now you've got a frustrating Oleksandr Usyk to fight, who doesn't have to deal with the crowd. And already, like you've mentioned, even if there was a crowd, it's hard anyway. But now he might find some sort of comfort. But who knows? That comfort might make him lazier in the fight. Who knows? We've seen some weird scenarios. He might be so used to that adrenaline pump of fighting in people's backyards that gives him that extra edge in a fight, where now he doesn't have that fear of extra pressure from international fans or fans that aren't his own. He may slack a little bit, and Chisora might catch him sleeping.
Thunder Road on our live chat said Chisora was a better fighter since leaving Don Charles. I mean, I'd contest that actually, because I think the two Dillian Whyte fights he performed very well, and I think the first one especially, and that was under Don Charles. I think maybe he's been matched better and more helpful to him since leaving Don Charles. He's had opponents that are more suited to him, certainly. I'm not sure he's improved greatly. Maybe better conditioned, I suppose. Certainly looks in better shape. But if he's doing the kind of David Haye, who's his manager, style of training, maybe he's better in burst than over a long, grueling 12-round fight. But that does bring up an interesting fact. Do we know who's going to be training Chisora for this, and who's going to be in the corner on fight night for certain?
No, that's a sticky one, because I'm not really sure. Who do you think will be in the corner?
It's a tough one, because there was a thing with Dave Coldwell, and then Steve Broughton came in for the last fight. When I last interviewed Chisora, he said he wouldn't be working with Steve Broughton for this one. But that was a couple of months ago, and a couple of months in Dereck Chisora's world is like 10 years for the rest of us. Do you know what I mean? He seems to change his mind about things like this on a daily basis. He's obviously working hard at the moment, and I think he works in David Haye's gym, and Haye's very influential in terms of the strength and conditioning and the nutrition. But who's actually going to be the main man in the corner? I can't imagine it's going to be Haye himself, so surely they're going to get someone in.
Yeah, I think that's yet to be announced. I can't think of who would be, to be honest. Imagine he goes a U-turn to Mark Tibbs. Madness.
You could actually see him doing something like that, though, couldn't you? Dillian Whyte's old trainer and all of that. But it's whether Tibbs has got the room.
He put up the post the other day. Did you see about how Dylan's going with his leftovers, as he put, something like that, with Coldwell and the others, the team that he had for the Povetkin fight?
Yeah, well, maybe they're going to do old switcheroo, like boxing version of swinging. They're going to swap partners, at least for temporarily. But I don't know. I mean, I'm not writing Chisora off. I think Usyk's a healthy favourite, and so he should be. Everything he's achieved have all been at a much higher level than Chisora's achieved as a pro. He seems closer to his prime physically than Chisora. But he's not a heavyweight. He's moving up to heavyweight because that's where the big fights are. But he's still a cruiserweight and probably could still make cruiserweight. And this is the first time he's going to fight.
Yeah, but he's not. We say he's a cruiserweight and all, but do you remember when he did face off against Chisora? Usyk's not size-wise. When people say it all the time, like Usyk, he's fine, man. I think he'll be fine at the weight.
Maybe, I don't know. This will be the first time he's fought against a strong, powerful pressure fighter at heavyweight. His first fight at heavyweight.
How can he take those shots?
Yeah. His first fight at heavyweight, he did what he had to do. He fought a short-notice opponent in Chaz Witherspoon after Tyrone Spong couldn't fight. And he did what he had to do. But a lot of people saying he got rocked early on in the fight. And if that's the case, I would say that Chisora's definitely a bigger puncher than Witherspoon. And he'll turn up with more ambition than Witherspoon did.
Yeah.
So, there is a test there for Usyk.
It's going to be crazy, though. That one, like how we talk, and this is a bit off topic, but how we were speaking about these behind closed doors fights, you can hear every punch. This one's going to be mad because you're either going to hear a Chisora bomb land on Usyk's chin and fold him, or you're just going to hear 10 Usyk jabs within the space of 3 seconds. It's going to be crazy.
I was watching the NFL over the weekend, and in the stadia where they haven't got fans in attendance, they pipe in some previous crowd noise from some of their previous home games. So, you can hear the normal chants that you would associate with each team. And I wonder if Eddie Hearn and Matchroom will pipe in the Chisora. I wonder if that will happen.
A lot of fans didn't like that, though, did they?
Yeah, I know. But for Chisora, because as you were saying earlier, he's used to that, crowd support, that might be something that boosts him up. It might trick his mind into thinking the crowd are right behind him when things get tough in there. I mean, there's also the fact that
Yeah.
Usyk's going in with so much to lose. You know, he's WBO mandatory for Joshua. Joshua fight's pretty much lined up if he gets past Chisora, as most people expect him to. Chisora's got nothing to lose, really. He loses to Usyk. He's still kind of there or thereabouts. You know, top domestic heavyweight, fringe world level heavyweight. But if he wins, he could end up fighting his former #1 fan in Joshua.
Yeah, what a story that would be. Yeah, as long as Chisora puts in a good shift, even if he loses the fight, as long as he puts in a good shift, he still doesn't lose his market value, in my opinion. You find Usyk, who, you know, people won't be like, oh, you lost to Usyk. They'll be like, oh, okay, so Usyk's in the heavyweight division now. You've already got that reputation. So, yeah, but I'm sure that Chisora is looking at this like, you know, he's getting a bit older now as well. He's probably looking at, I've built up all this in the last few years, you know, having those 2 grueling fights against Dylan, that amazing win over Takam, and then the other little victories he's picked up. All this has led to now, let me land this and try and get that world title shot. If I become world champion, great, but if not, you know, he still gets another big payday. So, yeah, he's definitely coming with ambition.
I can see it being, I don't want to just dominate the program talking about this because there's a huge weekend of boxing this weekend we need to talk about, but
yeah,
I can see it being quite a repetitive fight in that Usyk, if he boxes the way he should box against someone like Chisora, it will be effective. There's no way it can't be. Boxing, moving, lots of lateral movement, picking him off when he needs to, strong jab, you know. But you would expect Chisora, because this is not make or break for him, but a huge opportunity for him to keep coming. I don't expect him to be easily dissuaded in the way he was against Caballero in Monaco. I think he'll keep coming, and he'll have that belief, and David Haye will stoke that belief that all he needs is that one big shot to stun Usyk.
Yeah.
Once he's stunned him, then he can follow up for the finish. And I think even if it gets to 8 rounds, 10 rounds, and he's lost potentially every round, he'll still believe that he can eventually land that one shot that will turn the tide in his favour. And I think Usyk will, at some point, want to engage. I don't think Usyk's the type of boxer or the type of character that will want to just cruise his way to an easy 12-round points win without engaging at all. I think he's got something to prove to himself in this fight, that he can trade at heavyweight and be successful doing so.
He's got a very big task at hand to deal with Chisora if he wants to trade. Ooh.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a wise decision, but I just think if it's been a boring or tedious 10 rounds up to that point, he might want to stand there and have a little go with him. Once the fire has, at least to an extent, gone out of Chisora by that point, you would think.
Yeah, possibly. Big weekend. Big weekend coming up.
Huge weekend coming up. I mean, wow. It's like the schedulers have all got together and said, yeah, we're going to annoy everyone now. Like, there's not enough boxing going on during this period, so we're just going to put them all on the same night just to annoy boxing fans. But there should be a way of seeing most of it, if not all of it. I mean, obviously, the US card will be in the early hours of Sunday morning, and it's probably the best card of the 3, I would say. What do you think?
So there's the Josh Taylor one, the Charlo ones, and what's the third one?
And the WBSS.
Oh yeah, the Bedris. Okay, that's.
We're not going to talk about golden contracts because that's on Wednesday next week, and hopefully we'll do a chat Shiz on Tuesday next week, so we'll talk about that then.
Yeah, I'd agree with you. The American one is definitely the strongest one. I mean, the 2 brothers fighting split main event or whatever you want to call it, split card. That's such a strange one. I've never seen something like it. Yeah, it's definitely the stronger one out of the 3.
I think it's why you can get away with charging. I think they're charging $75 over there for it. I'm not sure how much it is over here on Fight.tv. They can have the little plug there, but I'm not sure.
£14.
Is that all? That's actually not bad, really. Like, obviously, casual
cheap.
boxing fans aren't going to buy it, so it doesn't matter. As a hardcore boxing fan, you would probably think that's worth 15 quid, 14 quid.
That is 100%, especially, obviously, we know the 2 main events. Remind me of the undercard again. Give me who's on the undercard.
One Carlos Payano has got a good fight on there. I can't remember the name of his opponent off the top of my head, but I know it's a good fight. There's like a number of them. I think there's like 4 world title fights in total, and there's at least one really good non-title fight as well. Go on, get the card up. Get the card. I'll fill time. I'll fill airtime while you find the card. But yeah, the Charlos. We'll talk about the main events in case people out there don't know what they are. Jamal Charlo, the middleweight, is fighting what is probably his toughest test so far as a pro against Sergei Derevianchenko. A lot of people consider that
a very hard fight.
Yeah, and his twin brother Jamel down at super welter. He'll be unifying titles, unless there's a draw, against Jason Rosario, who beat Jarrett Hurd. And obviously Jamel recently regained his belt from Tony Harrison. So that's a huge fight for the super welterweight division, which is quickly becoming one of the more exciting divisions on the boxing landscape. So they're the two big fights, and you're just getting up the rest of the card, right?
I went on the Instagram, but they don't have it there. So
BoxRec. Always go to BoxRec as your first port of call.
Oh yeah, BoxRec. That's right.
Oh
That's
yeah,
right.
BoxRec. See, there are benefits to being old.
Yeah. All right. So here we go.
Event.
Event.
Here we go. Come on.
Pull up the event. So Jamal Charlo versus Derevchenko, Charlo versus Rosario, Daniel Roman versus Payano.
Oh, that's it, Daniel Roman.
Yeah, that's not for a world title.
No, it's a good fight though, isn't it?
No. Yeah. Brandon Figueroa versus Damian Vasquez for the WBA World Super Bantamweight title. And pending approval, it says, so the other three. Luis Neri against Aaron Alameda. And Honrel Casemiro. Casemiro back in action against Duke Micah.
Yeah, see, now that is a sleeper.
That's a good fight.
Great fight, yeah.
That's a good fight.
Duke Micah, really good fighter. Untested to an extent. I mean, he's done well at like British domestic level and some other guys around that level, but he's yet to have that big test at world level. And John Riel Casemiro, likely to be a bit disappointed, you would think, after the Inoue fight has been put on hold, at least for now. Going up against Duke Micah, who could prove to be a banana skin for him.
Massive banana skin. I've been watching Duke Micah training. Credit to Havoc. And he looks in sharp shape, you know. Casemiro though made his noise in the UK when he beat Charlie Edwards, and then we've known him well since then. So yeah, it's a good fight. I mean, I was
knocked out Delani Tete as well in his last visit here.
Of course, yeah.
That was like a massive knockout.
Tete was on a massive hype chain as well. Like,
great streak
on the rise. And then he was
stopped.
So yeah, this is a good fight. Definitely see it. It's definitely a sleeper for the WBO World Bantamweight title. And then there's another fight featuring an undefeated Bakram Murtazalev, if I pronounced that right, and Manny Woods, who is 69-1. So there's another fight. So good card, very good card. Got loads of good fighters featuring on the card.
Sajid Mahmood on our live chat says both Charlos by KO. What say you, Fuad Abdul-Aziz?
No, definitely not the Derenchenko one, man. No. Derenchenko, come on, put some respect on Derenchenko's name. Put some respect. Honestly, like I'd say there's a 10% chance of him getting knocked out just because it's boxing and you don't know what shot can land. Other than that, you're talking about a guy who's just hard as nails, comes to fight, and knows how to take a shot also.
But he can give a shot as well. Like he's probably the biggest puncher Jamal Charlo's faced.
Yeah, exactly.
They're both big hitters, but
and Rosario is a good fight as well. Rosario is not some walkover. Come on, man.
A lot of people are writing Rosario off, though. I've seen like on social media, a lot of people just think he kind of fluked it a little bit over an underperforming Hurd, and Jamel Charlo will address the balance.
It's exactly that. I understand why people are saying that. You have to sort of you have to see this is his real like coming home party of like, all right, no, I am really here. That wasn't just a lucky night. I've done it against another proven fighter. So yeah, it's definitely an interesting one.
Yeah, I mean, Jamel Charlo's got fight-changing power. It wouldn't shock me if he got Rosario out of there with a single shot. Similar to the Erickson Lubin fight, I don't think Jamel Charlo's proved yet that he's a better all-round fighter than Erickson Lubin, but he got him out of there in the first round with a monster shot that he didn't see coming.
That's the thing. They've got power as well. Both the twins have got power. So, one shot can change Rosario. I can understand why you think Rosario would lose by KO more than Derenchenko, but Derenchenko has proven already. Like, give him some respect.
Yeah, he's proven at top level against really big punchers as well. You know, Danny Jacobs is massive middleweight. When he fought him, obviously he's up at super middle now, which kind of proves it. And Triple G, I mean, come on. I mean, what we can say, I guess.
Where is Triple G? What is Triple G doing? You just brought his name up, and it's like unlocked so many memories within the space of a split second. Where is Triple G? Where are you?
Wherefore art thou, Triple G? Yeah, I don't know. I
Mm.
mean, there was talk of him fighting Canelo. Obviously, that's not going to happen this year. Maybe no interest in keeping busy. I don't know. I mean, when you get to his age, if he is starting to fade a little bit, the more regular activity, the better. But
Yeah.
maybe another victim of the big money paid out by DAZN and PBC, in that he doesn't need to fight. You know, same as Canelo.
Just a quick one. All of boxing has got a big task to deal with this weekend. Like you said, they've already annoyed us by putting all cards on one night, but they do have a massive UFC card to challenge as well, with Adesanya against Costa.
Fuad, always
That's
with the UFC.
huge. No, I'm just telling you, that's going to be competition to the max, especially if you're telling me 70 quid for
$75
for the Charlos. Yeah,
in the US.
$75. Sorry,
Yeah.
for the US card. That's gonna be it's gonna be interesting. They've got a big challenger there.
I don't know about this upstart UFC whippersnapper. I don't think it's ever going to go anywhere, to be honest. I think, joking. Yeah, UFC's a behemoth and it will be challenging in the US. I mean, not so much here, obviously. We've got 2 cards going on at UK prime time. So, and also
Yeah,
on subscription TV. So, no extra fee involved in that. And the one on Sky Sports, which we only found out about last week when they announced their autumn boxing schedule, the fall schedule, as Americans might say. I'm not sure where in America that accent was from. But yeah, the WBSS final at cruiserweight between Maris Breedis and Uniel Dr. KO, or KO Doctor rather. I'm getting confused with the Klitschko's Dorticos. Really, really good fight. Sky are going live at 10 o'clock. Well, not going live, but Sky's program doesn't start. I only found this out today until 10 p.m. So I'm guessing they're only showing the main event, or if they are showing any undercard highlights, it'll be after the main event, because the main events for
yeah.
WBSS usually
Well,
go ahead UK time about 10:15. So they're starting
there's
straight
not
off.
any like crazy undercard fights. It's just prospects and like younger fighters. There's not like usually on the WBSS cards you have good solid undercards. Again, not their fault. Corona's been a madness, but I can understand why Sky would probably hold off.
I'm quite relieved.
Streaming.
I'm quite relieved that
Yeah.
it doesn't start until 10. I can catch up on SmackDown from the night before, watch Casualty, that BBC One staple that I love so much, and then, smooth over as I'm just starting to get a bit tired and get livened up by Breedis Dorticos, which looks almost guaranteed to be a cracker.
Where is these next schedule of fights taking place?
What, for who? For the Matchroom shows, you mean?
Well,
Breedis Dorticos is going to be in a TV studio in Berlin, in Germany, but I don't know where the UK shows are going to be yet. There was some talk of allowing more press in, I know that, but now the government...
Let us in! Please! We want to eat! We want to eat! Just let us in, please! We won't do anything, we wear a mask.
I wish I had a Fiend mask now, but... there was talk of that, but now the government's advice about, not having fans there for the foreseeable future, not sure how that would affect the press situation.
We don't count as fans. It's our workplace, so surely there could be a way around it.
Yeah. Well, if any people who make those key decisions are watching this, and I'm sure they all are, why wouldn't they? Let us in. We're desperate for it. We'll give you all the coverage you could want. We're enthusiastic. Don't worry about anyone else. Just me and Fuad, and we'll worry about the others later.
Yeah, that's it.
The show we haven't mentioned so far this weekend is, of course, the one on BT Sport. And it is, I should point out, the first since lockdown male world title fight on British soil, between unified world champion Josh Taylor defending against one of his mandatory contenders in Apin and Kongsong from Thailand. They had the press conference today. Press, because of COVID, couldn't go in, although we will have the video up on the channels shortly, I believe. But we did interviews with the main players afterwards. We've got Un Abbas Hussein there for us. And he's inside the bubble. No escape for him. So it's the opposite. He'll be saying let us out, whereas we're saying let us in. But getting to the point, it's an interesting fight because Taylor's waiting for that big undisputed showdown potentially with Jose Ramirez, part of the same promotional group. But he's got this guy that no one knows too much about, but looks strong, durable, big puncher from Thailand, Kong Song. He's not coming here to lay down, and he certainly won't be fazed by fighting in front of no crowd.
No, exactly. And again, it's another situation I've got nothing to lose. But what stood out to me when I did my research on Kong Song is he's got a mad KO ratio, and also he's on a KO streak. So 13 KOs in 16 fights, and he's knocked out I don't know how many of his last opponents on a roll. So he's coming in flaring with confidence, fighting the unified champ, and literally can change his entire life around right there on Saturday night. Again, doesn't have to worry about the pressure of fighting away from home. He's just fighting another geezer in almost like a gym environment. So again, these are so mad. Like all these big matchups and the big fighters fighting, will they lose their concentration? We've already seen it once, and it's proven against Dylan. Obviously, there's many arguments in Dylan's one. Povetkin's definitely Povetkin. We know the power Povetkin has, but
Yeah.
these types of fights where this guy's coming unknown territory, how is Josh Taylor going to adapt? It's exciting, man. I want this. I really like Josh Taylor. I'm a fan of him, but I want Kongson to take it to him, and I want to see Josh Taylor survive and prove that he's the best super lightweight.
Well, I've got a question for you. It's one I've shamelessly stolen from PFT Live, as I often steal ideas from them. One of my favourite shows covers the NFL on Sky Sports. If anyone hasn't seen it, but it's what's more likely. So I'm going to ask you, what's more likely? Josh Taylor loses in an upset to Apine and Kong Song, or Charlie Edwards on the same card loses in an upset to Kyle Williams?
Ooh, that's a hard one. Well, when was the last time Charlie fought? Charlie fought a while back now. When he lost his belt, wasn't it? Or after? Yeah, it's when he lost his belt.
Yeah, I don't think he's had a comeback fight yet, has he?
No, and this is up at bantamweight as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kyle Williams, 11 and 2, 3
Fuad's shamelessly looking at BoxRec here while answering the question.
I am. No, I just wanted to see like if he's
fooling nobody.
That's a hard one, man. But
the live chat saying Edwards getting upset's more likely. I say the live chat. 2 people have said it. 2 out of 2 though.
Right. This is a weird one because when you look at Charlie Edwards' opponent, 11 wins under his belt, but not many KOs. We've seen Charlie, he's got some animosity in his punches, the way he throws, and the extra weight will definitely help him. I don't think it'll be a thing about him dealing with the extra weight. But then you flip the table and you look at Josh Taylor. He's got a big puncher to deal with. So you would go towards the Taylor one. But Taylor is at his prime. He's doing bits. He knows he's handled different opponents. We've seen him go all out. We've seen him deal with a technical Regis Prograis where he took some shots as well. I don't know. I can't answer that question. What about you?
I like the way you said animosity in his punches. It made me think of Ron McIntosh commentating. In the third stanza, he has animosity in his punches. That's great.
He does. The way he throws it. I'm meant to be a commentator. I'm just waiting for a job.
I'm inclined to agree with the live stream reps, the live stream bods, who was saying that Charlie Edwards losing is more likely. I don't expect him to lose. I don't expect either of them to lose. But I think Kong Song's got a bit of a papered record. Josh Taylor's proven at the very highest level. I find it almost impossible to see him losing. Whereas I can kind of conjure a scenario in my head where Edwards falls victim to a bigger guy, maybe underrating him a little bit, heavier, pressure fighter. Maybe it goes a bit wrong. I still don't think it's going to happen, but I think if I had to pick which one was more likely, it would be that. Now, someone on the live chat, let me just check who it was. Sajid Mahmood again. He says, Usyk fight ain't PPV worthy. Now, I don't like the ain't. But I feel like he's trying to bait me a little bit because I think people know now that I said initially when it was first announced that I thought out of the pay-per-views that were coming up in the summer at that time, I didn't think Usyk Chisora at 20 quid was particularly pay-per-view worthy. And obviously I said the same about White Povetkin 1. But as time's gone on and we're more starved of boxing action, I think things are becoming more valuable as a result. And I think Usyk Chisora will be one of them. I will still wait to make my own personal decision over whether to pay 20 quid for it until I've seen what the undercard is. I think for me, if it's got a strong undercard, then that'll push me over the edge. But if it's got a weak undercard, or what I would deem weak, if it's fighters I'm not interested in, or fights that aren't 50-50s, then I won't be so inclined to pay that money. But what do you think?
Yeah.
Because I've got form for this already, so you're more of a fresh input on this subject.
No, your point is right though. Like, we've been starved of boxing for so long. People and fans, when they bring up this, is it worth it? Boxing's like this, man. But boxing with fighters like Usyk and Chisora, who are household names, who would do tickets, you just kind of got to understand it's going to be pay-per-view, whether it is worthy or not. In my opinion, yeah, I think it is a worthy fight to put on pay-per-view. It makes all sense to put it on. Even not with like the deadest of undercards where we don't know people, but anything they put on the undercard as a card itself is worth 20 quid for pay-per-view. It's boxing. If you're a boxing fan, you should have figured out this maths already. It's not hard.
I think my argument previously was that they've always, when they've been on pay-per-view in the UK before, they've been the B-side. So I guess the question is, do two B-sides clashing make an A-side? And I'm not sure, to be honest. I'm still not sure.
Yeah, but Usyk is the former unified cruiserweight champion who's one of the pound-for-pound best in the world right now against a very popular and proven Dereck Chisora, who's been here for I don't know how many years now, fought some amazing opponent and always brings entertainment. And people want to watch Chisora now more than ever.
I'm trying to think of an equivalent, though.
Crazy rise.
I'm trying to think of an equivalent, though. So, like, if Terence Crawford came here and fought, and it's got to be someone who's not been a world champion, because Chisora hasn't. So who's a welterweight that's kind of more towards the end of their career than the beginning, but still decent level? I don't know. Terence Crawford came over and fought.
No, but that doesn't make any sense, Danny, because we're talking about heavyweights. Heavyweights bring in a completely different factor of the game. Okay. A lot more people will know Chisora in his position than they will know a welterweight in a Chisora type position.
That's a very good point.
Do you know what I mean? So that's what Chisora's title is. That's how well known he is.
Yeah, that is a very good point.
And his stripes.
I can't compete with that. You've done me with that. It's a rare moment. I'm actually going to concede. I've lost the point. So, yeah, well done. Getting back to this weekend, though, what's going to be the best fight to watch over the three cards? What's going to be the best one?
Charlo Derevchenko.
Okay. I don't know.
Actually, no. Israel Adesanya versus Paulo Costa. That's
stop bigging up UFC on, two boxing channels. What are you doing?
Fine. I'm going to do another one. Chelsea against West Brom United.
West Brom United.
Albion. I always say West Brom United. West Bromwich Albion. Albion.
I think someone said earlier on the live chat, I can't find it now, but they said, what was Fuad's forfeit for Chelsea's defeat to Liverpool?
I ain't got no forfeit. I knew we were going to lose.
I wish I'd have thought about it. I would have worn my shirt. It actually fits me a bit better now instead of being skin tight for the last couple of years.
Fair enough. Well done, mate. Congrats.
Thanks,
You're doing
mate.
Bits.
Thanks. I'll take credit for the win as well. I was on the phone to Klopp, advising him on tactics before they kicked off. I think the best fight of the weekend...
On the phone with Flexen.
Chat Shiz get banged with Klopp and Flexen, yeah.
Exactly.
I'm going to say probably... they're all good fights, really, aren't they? Like, the two top American fights are really good. But I think I'm going to go Breedis Dorticos. Just for the fact that neither of them are hardly ever in uneventful fights. WBSS as a concept has delivered myriad great contests over the last couple of years. And I think the way Breedis fights, the way Dorticos fights, it just seems like it's got to be an exciting contest. Like the other ones, there's a slim chance that someone could decide to get up on their toes or make it not as good a fight. Or in the case of Taylor Kong Song, it could be pretty one-sided. So I think, for me, Breedis Dorticos is almost guaranteed to deliver. And it is in that valuable 10:15 p.m. UK slot as well, which is pretty cool. Won't make BT very happy, I guess, because they'll have something in that slot, whether it's the main event or the chief support. But what can you do? Well, I suppose what you can do is put them on different nights, guys.
Yeah. I can see where you're coming from with that, definitely. Well, talking about the WBSS, though, see their little heavyweight track that they put up? That was awesome, man. If they can pull that off.
Well, I don't know. Who actually was that? So this is what I don't understand, because I haven't watched the video. It's not that I don't watch IFL because some sort of partisan objection. It's just because their videos tend to be quite long. and I'm so busy all the time sorting out our videos. But was it Kalasauland who suggested those 8 names that were put in the grid? Or did he just say, I'd really like to do a WBSS heavyweight tournament with a certain number of guys, and then Michael Benson or someone else went and created that grid with ones they wanted?
Hold on, I'm gonna find out now. I'm on Twitter. I didn't watch the interview or anything.
Yeah, don't watch the whole thing now. People have waited while you've looked up box rate. They're not going to wait while you watch a whole IFL video.
Oh no, it was Michael Benson who made the grid.
Okay.
And then I feel like I saw Kale retweet it.
Because the only thing I really thought when I saw it was, yeah, it's a really good lineup, but it kind of assumes that Dubois is going to beat Joyce, which is a bit of subtle shade to Joyce.
Yeah, no, it was Benson who made the grid.
But yeah, I thought it was a really good lineup. To be fair, they took who did they take out the equation? Was it just Fury and Joshua, or is Wilder on there or not?
Let me get it back up. They definitely take out Fury and Joshua, obviously. With them fighting. Okay, so Ruiz, Povetkin, Parker, Hunter, Usyk, Ortiz, White, Dubois.
Oh, so no Wilder either.
No.
But that's still really okay. So who'd come out on top?
That's amazing.
Who'd come out on top? We don't know what the draw would be. Who's the best out of that lineup? Who wins?
Oh. Okay, so I have a lot of respect for Andy Ruiz. I just hope he pulls his stuff together. I think he's the most different heavyweight out of the lot. The way he fights, his size, and just what he brings to the ring. I reckon he can definitely go far. He'd get, in a lot of people's opinion, he beat Joseph Parker, he beat AJ, and then he lost to AJ when he was just his
Enormous,
own faults.
Obese.
Yeah. Povetkin has that one punch power, but yeah, he's getting on a bit. We'll see how he deals with Dylan White. Dylan's very experienced, now taking.
You're just going to go through all of them, aren't you? You have to pick one.
I'm not.
Pick one. We're getting the people's eyebrow now.
We'll see after the Usyk Chisora fight.
Oh no, you can't do that. Come on, you've got to pick one.
No. Nah, what's yours?
Are you going to pick one though? I don't mind going first, but are you going to pick someone?
I may. I'm still thinking. I'm thinking who. I'm trying to separate them all.
Right, mine's Usyk. I don't need to wait. I think he'll beat Chisora, but I just can't see in one-on-one matchups, looking through the other 7 guys, with Wilder not being in it with that massive one-punch power, same with Joshua, and Fury's size and incredible skill set. I could see ways in which all 3 of those guys beat Usyk. I don't see a way.
Yeah.
I can't see anyone else at heavyweight beating Usyk. I just think the combination of his skill set and boxing IQ beats everyone else in that field.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably why I said, let me see after the Chisora fight. Can he take a shot from Chisora on the chin?
But so if he can, are you backing Usyk?
Usyk, yeah.
It's unanimous. I mean, there's only 2 of us, but it's unanimous. We're picking Usyk.
Well, I wonder who Frank picks so we can make it 3-2.
We're picking Usyk in the Michael Benson Invitational, or whatever we want to call it. Just got to say,
nice,
Michael Benson gets a lot of criticism on Twitter, and I find it hilarious, like how much hatred there is for him. Like I think some of it is probably justified, like the fact that whatever he does, he puts out little synopses of other people's news stories and credits their Twitter account rather than puts a link into the video or the story, and can be a bit annoying, I guess, when you're on the receiving end of it. I've been on the receiving end of it on SecondsOut, but I just think the kind of overall just way people have such animosity, to use the word you used earlier, such animosity towards him for, it's a bit cheeky, but it's not like, I don't know, not wearing a mask on a train full of people, do you know what I mean? In the current climate, it's not that bad, but it arouses really strong feelings.
I like Benson. He delivers us the news, and from whenever he's retweeted one of our interviews, he does put the link in, so I'm all right.
Yeah, well, exactly. He puts our link in as well. Yeah, maybe if he wasn't putting the link in, I'd be really like pitchfork out and trying to get him. But yeah, I'm good with it. I've never seen him though. I've never met him. Like I've seen TalkSport.
I know he's a Chelsea fan.
Never seen him.
I know he's a Chelsea fan, so
Oh,
I like him there.
oh, now you've told me that. Get him.
Have you
Get
not
him.
figured it out? Look at
Drag
his
him.
profile picture.
Drag him. Now I know
No, I like
this.
him.
Cancel him.
I know. I
Cancel
think I've
culture.
met
Get
him.
rid of
I
him.
think I met him. I think I've met him once or twice before, but he's very discreet when it comes to the events. You never really know who he is. He's just lurking.
Now, I'm going to ask you before we go a bit of a light-hearted question, but I've got this so many times over the years, and I want to know from a Chelsea fan once and for all, do I in any way resemble Frank Lampard?
Maybe 24.7%.
So if I started, would it help? Would it increase that percentage if I started, I don't know, blaming everyone else for defeats, something like that?
Go away. Go away. Go away.
To be fair,
He
I
doesn't
don't
need
mind.
to
I
fix
don't
up,
mind the
though.
Frank Lampard shout. I got Keir Starmer the other day, and I think I'd rather. I think I told you that. I think I'd rather.
Frank Lampard.
I think I'd rather Frank Lampard, to be honest.
Yeah. Do I look like Diego Costa?
A little bit, yeah, because of the eyebrows and the beard and the moustache. Yeah, I think there's a slight thing there. Like Diego Costa played by Lee Francis on Bo Selector. I think you could get away with
it. I get that. I get that quite a bit.
All right. Good. Well, now we've got our new section, host looky likeys out of the way. We thank you all for tuning in. Obviously, anyone that watches this on the replay, you can still leave comments, of course, and we'll respond to some of them on our respective channels. But really appreciate your time. We'll try and give you a bit more notice next week. We said that last week, and I think you got an extra hour this time around, as you will tomorrow when the clocks go back, or Sunday, sorry, when the clocks go back. But always a pleasure. Love doing this, and hopefully we'll do it Tuesday next week.
Yep, Tuesday next week, guys. Tune in. Thanks for tuning in. If you have already, if you haven't subscribed, do it now.
#DragBenson.
Oh.